I understand. He turned on his heels and left without another word. Whoa, that was intense. So wait a moment, just to understand what just happened. There was a time that elapsed during the first chapter and this chapter. This is chapter 2. During that time, Catherine, well, she was of Naturaline's house apparently, and he really liked her. I'm not sure if he loved her in the manner of a little girl or if he loved her in another way that you shouldn't love little girls. But however, he cared about her, and he also cared about Rose. But just apparently because Catherine cared about her. And Rose now lives at his place in a tiny room, or just a normal-sized servant's room. Because I guess that's what she is. And now they are both not sure why Catherine died. The mother wants to convince her that it was Juliem's deed. And Catherine started to become psychic? I don't know. No, psychologically insane? I don't know how. But I think we will find out eventually. Let's continue with the story for the moment. Hours seemed like minutes to her. She would fall asleep and awaken in unfit intervals, so often that she had lost the exact time. Awake, she would stare at a part of the wall with no coherent thoughts forming in her mind. One would think mourning should be spent in a depressive frenzy. All the reasons to grieve are yours, after all. She could wail now, if she wanted. She could pull on her hair, curse the skies. She could reminisce the past, admire the frailty of human lives. Unfortunately, it was something less poetic. Pain was simple. It was clean. It was a well-sharpened knife that sliced through the heart in one stroke. No blood, no mess. Empty. When tears were spent, there was just a hole where your heart had been. The hurt called out to you. It lingered. But since there was nothing there anymore, you couldn't find where the pain ended, and you began. Rosa slept all day. The sun had gone down twice before she shifted from her bed. She stood up slowly, deliberately, with a purpose. My child, you know I hurt when you're hurt. Already a surge of power flowed within her, fueled by her grief. The power filled her up, and there was so much emptiness inside her that the energy seemed to saturate her whole body. Purpose was always a balm for grief. Mother, tell me what to do. Retribution or justice? Now we have a problem, because I don't know what retribution means exactly. But when I say justice, maybe that means I should kill Jalem, and I don't want to do that. Let's go for retribution. I feel like I have an idea what it means. Let's just try. Start with this guilt, child. Uncover his lies. Crush his mask. He must pay for everything he has done. Oh, no, I don't want this. Rosa didn't speak, but she started to form the words in her mind, feeling them in her bones, giving life to every thought. She took a small knife and carved a symbol on her floor. It didn't need much. A guilt spell. Whoa, wait. She's a witch now? Okay. So much for unaccepted okay. So she's casting a guilt spell on him. It didn't aim to punish. It only aimed to inform. She needed to know how much guilt the man carried, and the source of such guilt. I guess that's better than to serve justice. If the guilt was concrete and came from a direct action, she would know Jolene did something to Catherine. It had been a while since she had used magic. Well, there we go. Okay, magic. Just accept this. It used to be the only way she could protect herself from the world. Mother had taught her, and now Mother guided her as she cast her spell. So the voice in her head isn't just a personified I don't know. It's not just a kind of psychological disorder, but it's actually her mother talking to her because she's a witch. Okay, I can go with that. She needed a possession of the man. Rosa adopted for his voice, still fresh from memory. She focused on the last conversation they shared. If you need something to hate, I will take care of you. I need you. His words made Rosa feel distress and confusion. Always, it was this way with him. The feeling wasn't foreign. It had been there for years. I will always be here for you. Ow. Ouch. Rosa felt a violent force upturn her stomach. It was that horrid lurch just before vomiting. You failed! The spell collapsed in her brain. Focus, idiot child, or you'll lose your chance. Rosa tried again. This time, she focused on Jaleem's eyes. Cold, like flints of steel. Dark and fathomless. No grief, except, perhaps, for the situation. No Catherine. No pain of loss. This didn't matter to her. Their relationship was dying anyway. Where was his guilt? Rosa dug deeper. She increased the chanting on her lips. No torment. No uncertainty. No guilt. Did the spell fail again? She searched once more and found nothing. There was no guilt in Jaleem's eyes. She could stop the spell now, knowing that he was innocent. If the spell had worked, then Jaleem was blameless. But this absence was most distressing. Rosa desperately pushed her mind further, almost wishing there were traces hiding beyond her reach. Guilt should be present in any loss, no matter how little. Don't we blame ourselves for our own loss? Don't we hate ourselves and punish ourselves, even if it wasn't our fault? It didn't have to be real, but we need guilt to feel pain. But Jaleem didn't have a sliver of guilt. Ouch. The vicious pain took hold of her again, squeezing her stomach with murderous intent. The pain was so great, Rosa wasn't sure if the spell had failed or succeeded. Something is wrong. Before Rosa could agree with Mother, she felt a sharp pain in her throat. Rosa clutched her neck, scraping, scratching. A sharp, jagged lump was blocking her breathing. She could feel its edges crawl up her windpipe, tearing the soft walls as it moved about. The pain did not stop. Rosa fell to her knees and gagged. Huge drips of blood spotted spit ran down her chin. She thrashed about like a woman being strangled. Mother remained calm, unaffected by Rosa's distress. Rosa was about to expel whatever it was. Tears ran down her face. The horrible acidic taste coated her tongue. Finally, she opened her mouth and forced the vile thing out. She kept her eyes shut, afraid to look at whatever had come out of her. I don't want to know either. But the choking feeling gripped her and she puked again. The liquid dripping down her mouth thickened and congealed. It wasn't spit anymore, but blood. It gathered around her knees in a growing pool, Rosa panted. Every breath was laced with pain. But the gruesome effect had finally stopped. She wiped the sweat from her forehead. Something on the floor reflected light. She struggled to comprehend what was in front of her. She reached out with her hand, and the prick of something sharp made her recoil. She tried again, this time seeing more clearly. Rosa picked them up with shaking hands. Needles. I just coughed up needles? Ugh, God. Where did those come from? Maybe, just maybe, Jalem is some kind of witch as well, and did a spell on her because she wanted to look for something in his mind. I don't know. Needles. In her palm was a handful of long metal needles. She had regurgitated them along with blood and jagged pieces of flesh. Rosa examined them with a horrified kind of curiosity. She stuck one in her thumb and it drew more blood. They were real. They had materialized in her throat while casting the spell on Jalem. Rosa wiped her mouth. There was something wrong with him. Something potent and dark. Or could it be that she had merely botched the spell horribly? She had pushed her limits this time. She had gone too far. But still, a tugging concern was forming. It was as real as the metal needles in her hand. Rosa tried to stand up on her feet, but she was exhausted. Her knees failed her, and she crumbled on the floor like a rag. Mother, I knew it, or we must get to the bottom of this. Let's just say I knew it, because I don't know if Rosa will try once again when we say this and maybe kill herself. So I knew it. I knew it. That man. We must find out how to destroy him. Rosa stared at the needles in her hand. Who are you really, Jalem? Chapter 3. Portress, Candlelit. Whew. Well, that was intense. Oh, that's a nice atmosphere. That's relieving. So we learned that Rosa is a witch. Her mother was a witch as well. I'm just, thinking about this myself so that I understand. Maybe you will understand with me. Rosa is a witch and she cast a spell on Jalem. She wanted to look for guilt in his mind. And for some reason, needles materialized themselves in her throat. And she had to cough them up and, well, I guess, hurt herself. Badly doing so, which is natural when you cough up needles. So I guess he is a witch as well, or a dark mage or something like that. But I'm not sure what his intentions are, and I'm sure he didn't want to kill Catherine. Very sure. Let's move on. In this room. Rosa entered the room with a tray of pastries and a pot of tea. Yeah, so she is a servant girl. Her duties were finished and she was allowed a bit of free time. She's serving herself, okay. She thought of accompanying Catherine for today's piano lesson. Oh, I see. Flashback. Kath, do you want some tea? Oh, so that's me now. The girl didn't look her way. She continued to churn out the bitter, melancholic sound of the piano. Rosa sighed. Her shoulders slumped in defeat. She placed the food on the table. She sat on the stool beside the piano, twiddling her thumbs while her friend continued to stew in her foul mood. Is that the new composition? It sounds nice. Nowadays, you make a new piece every day. It's a shame they're all so sad. Catherine didn't reply to that, but when she spoke again, her words were bitter. I saw them again. Those degenerate louts. I think she's older now, so maybe I shouldn't give her the child voice anymore. I'm not sure. No shame at all. Kath. All right. Consenting damn adults and all that. At least have the decency to close the door. Sometimes I dare say that they want to get caught. When I walked in on them this morning, eating each other's faces, they had this look on them. Like they were daring me to say something. Quoi? Do they want my applause? Very nice technique, sir. I very much like the way you swap your spit with my sister. Great tongue action. Très merveilleux. Oh, so she caught Jolene with Emily, I guess. Yeah, that was supposed to happen. I mean, yeah, how Emily behaved around him and everything. And he even has the gal to speak to me. Be a dear and put them on the table, Catherine. He even said, like I'm a soft-headed giggle-mug of a maid. He wanted me to get annoyed, I just know it. Well, Fashy, I am. Catherine turned to the tea and pastries, stuffing the buttered bread into her mouth. Easy there. These damn things. These damn delicious things. She said the last part angrily, as if she blamed her troubles on the food's relish. Rosa giggled in spite of herself. Catherine wiped her mouth in mock anger. Why are you laughing at? What are you laughing at, wench? It's almost comical to watch you eat when you're angry, Kath. You're like the giant monsters that attack defenseless towns in horror books. Oh, yes. Catherine made a sad, tiny squeal and picked up another piece of bread. No, please spare us. She adjusted her voice and boomed out a roar. The Catherinian monster of the deep doesn't show mercy to anyone. She dropped it in her mouth and chewed savagely. Yum! Annihilation is delicious with tea. And the two girls giggled. Catherine's rare smile turned into a rueful laugh. And soon Rosa felt her mood turning somber again. What happened, anyway? Aren't you annoyed by it too? Sister has changed ever since she started helping in the chateau. Now it is all Jolene this, Jolene that, as if he wasn't already married. As if she wasn't already married. Ugh. She doesn't even care the people are talking behind her back. They're calling her a two-timing slut now. I'm tired of running around, picking fights with gossipers. She hasn't even visited home for a long time. Father misses her a lot. He always asks about her. Father had worked so hard all these years just to give us a comfortable life. Now he's sick, and all he cares about is that dastardly Marquis. Rosa shrugged. I am a little bit annoyed, but I guess I've gotten used to it. Their lives are their own, Kath. She didn't dare divulge more than to Catherine. But it was particularly true. I like Jolene. He's a nice friend. But I love my sister. If they wanted to stay together, then why not fix this and have at it? But what irritates me to damn snatch is the way they are with each other. Catherine recently found the use of expletives endearing in her speech. Okay, I don't know what that means. Rosa hoped it was a phase. Oh, I guess what it means. They are fucking miserable. Any half-wit can see that. Yes. I've told Emily time and again to smarten up. She's hurting a lot of people, including herself. But as if she would listen to her 16-year-old brat of a sister. Oh, so she is 16 now. I guess the voice change is... I have to adapt it, yeah. If she is 16, how old am I? I guess older than 20. Maybe not much, but yeah. Even Jolene is depressed. I can tell. Remember when he used to come and visit us here to have tea? Or when we used to have picnics in the afternoon? We used to run around chasing rodents in the garden. You ran around. We just watched you get dirty, actually. That is very true, you knitheads. Back then, it used to be fun visiting the chateau. Nowadays, we barely even see him. He just stays in his bureau all day, brooding. Is it something adults subject themselves to, like a torture ritual? I really don't understand why two people who are clearly unhappy keep at it. Rosa did understand. At least some part of her did. She couldn't exactly explain how pain and love worked, and all she knew was that it had something to do with an absurd, obsessive amount of hope. She felt Mother tugging at her mind. She loved Mother so much. Living with the Perrys gave her ample comparison to her former life. She had finally accepted that Mother was cruel. And yet, Mother still gave her love and kept her from wanting. Was that crazy? Perhaps it was the only love she needed. Perhaps it was what she deserved. Rosa shook the thoughts off her mind and just shrugged. I know you are just worried about your sister, Kath. But they will figure it out. Humans learn. Look at you, all profound and shit. You need... I love how she's swearing a lot. Look at that, all profound and shit. You read any good books lately? Just a riveting account of the ugly duckling and black sheep. Ah, they're classics. I don't know how to put up with it, though. I hate reading words. In order to write, I have to learn how to read first. I want to write. Why would you want to do a dastardly thing with like writing? Why would you want to hit some crazy strings until your fingers bleed? The two friends laughed again. I want to remember things. I want to write them down. But most of all, I want to feel the way you do when you play the piano, Kath. Oh? The way you look when you play. You are passion and bliss in musical form. It feels like love, like magic. You inspire me to do something fulfilling and grand. Well, I'm sure you will. Hey, why not why not write a play one day? Oh, let's do it. You write an amazing play, and I shall provide the music. We'll travel around the country and perform. We'll make lots and lots of money and gain lots of followers. We shall be known as the Parade Caravan of Wonders. Parade? I'm not sure. Puns are the best, trust me. That sounds darn batty, Kathy. Ugh. From this day forward, nobody is allowed to call me Kathy ever again. The sound of a knock interrupted their giggles. Catherine, it's me. I need to discuss something important with you. Frustrated, Catherine pouted at the sound of her sister's voice. She turned back to her piano and began to pound a sarcastically happy tune. Great. She's like all the rebellious teenager now. I love that. Rosa stood up to open the door. Hello, Rosa. Madame? She had seen little of the older Perrite sister recently, and it astounded her how old she had begun to look. Her once radiant face looked tired and harrowed, almost crone-like. Under her eyes hung huge bags. and yet she still looked quite dignified, full of pride and pomp. There was extra rouge on her skin, and her demeanor was elegant. It was as if pride was her only source of nourishment these days. "Do you mind giving Catherine and me a moment of privacy?" Rosa gave a small bow. "Of course not, madame." Rosa gathered her nursery books and squeezed Catherine's shoulder before stepping out of the room.